the impact of rising energy bills is not just on energy poverty, as many fire and rescue services have reported an increase in incidents of people turning to dangerous alternatives to keep warm or cook food. I see some of known faces that know what I am talking about. So this puts communities at greater risk of fires, making the role of fire and rescue services in supporting vulnerable households to prevent fire more crucial than ever. Households who struggle to afford needed energy services in the home are also disproportionately exposed to fire risks due to the poor quality of their housing and electricity installation, as well as the higher prevalence of unsafe energy consumption practices. So today we have with us Olivier Tissot, coordinator of FEED, the Forum of European Electrical Domestic Safety, which is a think tank and a do tank that brings together organizations aiming to improve electrical safety in dwellings. FEED did a little research on this topic with association working in energy poverty in 2022, so 1 year ago. So today we have invited him to explain all the details on the report. So the floor is yours, Olivier. Welcome.
Thank you for the introduction, Marta. I'm really happy to be with you today. And I think everyone could see my screen now. And I'm Olivier Tissot, working at the European Copper Institute. I'm program manager, Green and Healthy Buildings. The European Copper Institute is one of the founding members of which I'm the coordinator of the secretariat. And as explained by Marta, I will present you a little survey we made on the, let's say, the link between energy poverty and fire risk. So my presentation will be dedicated to this study. But FEED did a lot of other study and reports. And for instance, one of our first report published in 2020 showed that 25% to 30% of domestic fires have an electrical source. So it's a quite big number. I will show you even bigger number in this presentation. But FEED has already published several reports. I will send you the link by the end of this presentation for you just to access all these reports. But let's concentrate now on energy poverty and fire risk. And I would like to start this presentation with a little poll. There will be other poll into the presentation. So I really count on your active participation to these polls. So the first question I would like to ask you is, what's the first word or the sentence that springs to mind when you think of energy poverty and fire risk? You can answer by just putting one word. You can answer with a sentence. I will give you time to connect to the system and to give the answer. So let's see what's happening there. So we have precarity, obsolete appliances, fireplace, lack of awareness, poor housing conditions, bad air quality, and health risks. Okay, precarity looks like it's a dominant keyword here. Shanty, more risk, yeah. Okay, I think we are not that much people around the table today, so let's keep it as it is now. Yes, definitely, I will, some information here are echoing with what I will say after, but definitely it's all good. I mean, okay, fireplace are definitely a risk of fire when it's the only solution to heat a home. The lack of awareness is quite important, because if you don't know the risk, you cannot prevent it. bad air quality and health risk is really a topic which is not in that presentation, but definitely something that we hear really frequently when we are talking about energy poverty condition. Obsolete appliances, I will talk about it. The precarity is really the key word. Okay, precarity is really the starting point for a lot of concerns and poor housing conditions. Great. Thank you very much for your collaboration. Now, let's start with this number. FEEDS estimate that in the EU, 132 million of electrical installations are obsolete. 132 million, it's half of the existing building stock. And of course, it is where vulnerable communities are potentially living. So aging or disabled people, single families, and of course, people in energy poverty situation. So what is an obsolete electrical installation? It's an electrical installation more than 30 years old, which has never been upgraded or updated since then. So it's really the archetype of electrical installation where you cannot install heavy loads, like, for instance, a heat pump or photovoltaic panels. Heat pump is presented as a solution to alleviate energy poverty, but we have to be careful. Half of the building stock as obsolete electrical installation in Europe. So to show you clearly what is an obsolete electrical installation, I prepare some pictures. So an obsolete electrical installation, I would say, is very visible. Of course, nobody apart from electrician is a specialist in electricity. But even for a non-specialist, it is often quite easy to see if something is really wrong with an electrical installation. And just to compare the pictures on the left-hand side with this one is modern electrical panel. So with all the security devices inside. So you can feel the difference. You don't have to be an electrician to see that there is something wrong with the others. Of course, you have almost everything between the pictures on the left-hand side and the right-hand side, but really you can feel it. Now, some example of, let's say, bad things. So in obsolete electrical installation, you have frequently not enough electrical sockets. You have to understand that an old electrical installation is not designed at all for the current uses of electricity. So as consequence, you use power strip, and on the power strip, you use another power strip, etc., etc. And this creates an overload of the electrical line, and of course, it is really a source of fire. So in that case, not enough electrical sockets, and of course, a bad use of the existing electrical installation. Another example is probably well known by you, because communities in energy poverty situation need frequently to find solutions for heating. But they're also obliged to buy cheap items. And cheap things are not the safest. And you see here an example of the use of electric blankets. Okay, so could be dangerous. In some circumstances, the electrical installation can protect you from this fire. It's not always the case, but having a modern and safe electrical installation can protect you from such a problem. Heating is not only the only issue. When during the summer you have to cool also in some countries, and you can see on the right-hand side a fan completely destroyed by fire. But just getting back to heat, electrical heating could be also very dangerous. So these are only few examples related to electricity, because of course at FEEDS, it's our main topics, the Forum for Electrical Domestic Safety. On these observations, we at FEEDS have the conviction that a link, I would say at least electrical, exists between energy poverty and fire risk. And when we asked this question around us, the answer seemed obvious. Yes, there is a link between energy poverty and fire risk. But when we are looking at documentation, papers, study, or whatever, finally, we don't have been able to find a lot of information. So it is why we decided to conduct this survey last year, and by asking 10 questions to key stakeholders. Just one point regarding stakeholders. The thing is that this survey was not publicly diffused. We contacted really a professional in the field of energy poverty, and we asked them to diffuse, to dispatch the survey. For instance, I'm thinking about Stefan Bozarowski, who is well known, Marine Cornelis, both really help us a lot to distribute this survey. And we make it running for 3 months. And so far, we received 27 responses covering 13 countries. And I think it's representative enough. I want to be clear about one thing. It's not an in-depth analysis, okay? But here are only, these are only key questions. And I will not go through all these questions. I only selected a few of them, the most important one that I will develop there. So first question is really the big one. Do you think that people affected by energy poverty are more exposed to fire risk than the rest of the population? So with no surprise, 95% of people say yes. So it really reflects all the information we had while speaking with people. Now I would like again your contribution. So we will start another poll. And here is the question. To your knowledge, when a renovation, I'm talking about a renovation, when a renovation starts to tackle energy poverty, are fire prevention measures included? So maybe you are not a project manager in renovation, okay, I can understand that, no problem. But if you have contact, if you heard about things, okay, just let me know. Okay, occasionally, yes, okay. It's encouraging because there is no. So, okay. Now that's quite interesting. That's quite interesting because with your answer here, finally you will see we are more or less close to the result we had. Okay, so occasionally 88%, yes, 13%, and no. So that's great. Let's see what we have in our survey. Okay, just give me 1 second. Here. Okay. So, how many people answered no? 15%. Okay, so we had people answering no. I don't want to do a lot of math with you because most of the people don't like math, but just trust me, 5% saying no to the link between energy poverty and fire risk, and 15% not including prevention measures, means that 10% of respondents are aware of the situation, but they are not able to manage the risk. And it is interesting to try to learn why they know the risk, but why they are not able to manage the risk. So here are 4 reasons, which are, I think, quite good. No budget available, the absence of regulation, the lack of information, are not in the scope of the respondent. Okay. I don't want to be too long on that, but the absence of regulation is really crucial, because we know, because we did a mapping of existing inspection regimes across Europe, we know that there are countries where these inspection regimes are mandatory, countries where they are not mandatory at all, and somewhere they are only recommended. Lack of information, it's all about awareness. And remember, when I asked the first question at the poll, there was one keyword about awareness. And definitely, if you know that the risk is existing, of course, you are able to manage it more properly. And not in the scope of the respondent is a bit worry, of course, because it's definitely a lack of information and awareness. So let's see how many people answered yes. 18%. So you can see that we are more or less close to what you answered. So yes, good. Some initiatives are addressing at the same time energy poverty and fire risk. And this is definitely an opportunity to collect and share best practices. So, but 18%, I think we all agree, is probably not enough. And let's do math a little bit again, but it's 67% that answer occasionally. And maybe this 7%, you remember from the audience there, it was 88%, okay, even more. But in fact, it's probably the most worrying. Why? Just because occasionally means lottery. You don't do it systematically. You know there is a risk, but you are only addressing this risk occasionally, okay? So if I make a little sum up, these results are encouraging, okay? Because we have example of best practices with people saying yes. We do not have a majority of no, but we have too much of occasionally. And does this mean that after renovation by a trusted organization, the citizen has no guarantee regarding the safety? Really, it's a big question. Okay. Let's do another poll. And it's the last one. So once again, it's a word cloud. So you answer whatever you want. Which preventive safety measures could be undertaken regarding, of course, fire safety when you are doing a renovation? Raising awareness, okay, definitely a big point. Modern equipment, thank you very much. Awareness, education, yes, yes, it's all about it. It's all about it, yeah, yeah. I must say that I think that the answer that we have now would have been completely different if I asked this question at the very beginning, but it's part of the game, it's awareness. Okay. So modern electrical equipment inside home visit, excellent. Incentive for refurbishment, yes. Free inspection of installation, great, yes. All these are really great ideas, and yeah, information comes when buying new equipment, installation inspection, yeah. Thank you very much. Recovery, low-tech measures. Good point. Okay. You will see that in our survey, there was 3 comments at the end of the exercise, and we received really a lot of comments, and they are really close to what I read here. So we will go later on that topic. But thank you again for answering this difficult question. And let's go to the next slide. For our survey, the answers were more were defined in advance. There was smoke alarm, electrical installation upgrade, electrical safety check, gas safety check, evacuation plan, and sprinkler. And of course, we receive answer only for people answering occasionally and yes to the previous question. So what preventive measures are taken? So the highest rate were coming from smoke alarms and gas safety check. So 52% for gas safety check and 47% for smoke alarm. You think, okay, it's good, but it's not that much good regarding the fact that smoke alarms and gas safety check are already mandatory in a large number of European countries. Let's have a look on electrical safety check and electrical upgrade. Both have the same number, 43%. And it's not by chance if numbers are the same. In fact, in 100% of the cases, when a check was done, an upgrade of the electrical installation has been performed. So in 100% of the cases, if an electrical check was done, an upgrade was performed. So it's good because we can see there is really an issue with electrical installation. And this confirms that electrical installation requires probably a specific attention. But this means also that for 57% of respondents, that attention given to electrical installation is not considered. And so the renovation aiming to alleviate energy poverty may leave occupants with potentially unsafe electrical installation. And the lowest rates were from evacuation plan, while it's very important in the case of multi-apartment buildings, and sprinkler, not very well known. I don't know if you know what is a sprinkler system, but don't hesitate to ask. I will explain after my presentation. So that was for the analysis. Okay, there was more questions. You can read the complete report, but I will stop there. Already a first conclusion. So while building renovation is the best structural measure to address energy poverty, a more systematic consideration of the fire risk should be encouraged to offer safe and decent housing. And really, before we start this session, I was talking with Julien Raffin about the structural measures. It's definitely important. As far as I know, there will be this will be the topic of the next EPAH lunch. Great, but you know it better than me. Due to the energy crisis, one of the main option chosen was to help households to pay their energy bill. And of course, a lot of money was given on this occasion, which is a really good decision because the situation was really critical. But if it's a very short-term solution. If we really want to go further in the long term, renovation are really key to alleviate energy poverty. But I think you know that better than me. Previously, I was talking about comments. Here are some comments received from the survey. So prevention is key, and you will see there most of the comments here are the comments that you answered to the poll previously. Need for information, awareness, education, the importance of local authorities as key actors. So it's yeah, but you know it better than me. Once again, the importance of fire brigades. I will get back to this later on. Renovation have to include energy, fire, electricity, and gas as a whole. Definitely, a holistic view on renovation is key. Ban energy disconnection. Sometimes a disconnection is more dangerous than the rest because people will look for, let's say, emergency solution to have light, to have heat. And of course, you use candles, you use fireplace, which are not well maintained. And at the end of the day, it's a disaster. Education of the professional. Key importance of financial support. Yes, incentives should include all prevention safety measures. Better regulation, as already explained, it's not an harmonized situation in all countries in Europe. And the last point, okay, deep renovation, yeah, and holistic. So these are the main comments we receive from the study. And now a few words to conclude this presentation. So the link between fire safety and energy poverty is supported. And at FEEDS, it is what we define as the double penalty. People in energy poverty situation are more at fire risk than the rest of the population. Fire discriminate. This is a quote directly from firefighters organization. Fire discriminates. And a more consistent approach to integrate fire safety considerations into initiative addressing energy poverty and renovation is required. So what could be the best practices, the idea? So first of all, the basics of the management of fire. Smoke alarm and evacuation plan need to be strongly promoted. We think that free gas and electrical checks before all renovation should be mandatory. Gas and electrical upgrade should be integrated into energy renovation support, both financially through subsidies and technically. And here I'm specifically thinking about the one-stop shops. And finally, free home fire safety visits to help prevent accidents and keep people safe. And this can be organized at the very local level, the size of the city, in coordination with fire brigades, for instance. So, last point about best practices. FEEDS really want to cooperate with you. Okay, we are ready to share our expertise in projects aiming to alleviate energy poverty in the following areas: of course, renovation, energy efficiency, one-stop shops. If you have any initiative you think about that could include safety aspects, we are ready to collaborate. So don't hesitate to reach out. It's really our pleasure to collaborate. As already said, the full report is available on our website. So you will have the presentation, the full presentation. So don't rush on your computer. feedsnet.org will be communicated. And thank you to the Energy Poverty Advisory Hub, because this report is there for months on the publication webpage. And finally, I really want to thank you for your attention, for your collaboration with the polls. You can contact me at secretariat@feedsnet.org. Here is again our website address, and this was the Forum for European Electrical Domestic Safety. Thank you.